Let's pull up our Pinterest board. Hi, I'm Molissimo, and today is the final day of July, and I have decided I want to start or attempt to start a new series on this channel. I'm tentatively calling it Monthly Pinterest Board Review, Month in Review, Pinterest Edition, Pinterest Review, Monthly Edition. Just as a bit of a warning though, this is only very slightly tangentially related to writing or reading, and so I'm sorry for this kind of tangent in content that I have made. It's gonna be cozy, it's gonna be quiet, it's going to be chill. It's gonna be a good time. Or really boring, depending on your interest level. The basic idea is every month for the past few months, I've been making Pinterest boards to kind of curate the mood, the emotion, the atmosphere, the aesthetic of the upcoming month that I would like to try and cultivate within my life, while also treating it a little bit like a to-do list, but not necessarily holding myself super stringently to that to-do list. And I thought it might be a fun exercise to go back at the end of every month and review my mood board to see how I did. I have my phone with my Pinterest board on it. I'm gonna scoot over so I can share the screen recording. And I'm gonna go ahead and go to my July mood board. This is not my July mood board. Here we go, July mood board, 46 pens. I'm gonna scroll all the way down to the bottom. Okay, a very interesting initial collection of pictures. It's a lot of water, a lot of sparkling light on water. So every July I come up and visit family, and we're all kind of gathered around this beautiful lake. When I was creating this mood board and I think of July, sunlight sparkling on water is always one of the first things I think about. And so I just wanted to have these images on here as a way of really, pun intended, diving into the mood board creation experience. This little interesting treat and coffee cup off to the side of the sparkling water is a Swedish dessert called a dammsugare, or a vacuum cleaner. I make these every year. I have a whole branch of my family that are Swedish, and every year I try and make some form of Swedish treat for them. The past couple years it's been these vacuum cleaners. And I thought maybe perhaps I'd be making them again this summer, but I have not yet, and I think I'm gonna actually be making something different, but we'll get to that later. A lot of people in my family sail, so I had a sailboat on my mood board. I thought, oh, maybe I'll go for a ride. Maybe I'll join someone for a sail. That does not happen. I find sailing kind of boring. Sorry. Coffee and a book on a porch sounded cozy to me. Have I done that yet? No. I have had coffee and I've sat on a porch, but I have not read simultaneously, but that's okay. Yeah, the laundry line. We have a laundry line up here, and I like hanging things on the laundry line. Okay, we've got a girl on a swing and a girl walking her dog. I've done both of these things this month. We have a nice swing up here between two trees. I've loved it since I was a teenager. I swing every summer for sometimes hours a day. The walking the dog. In early July, this was very much something that I attempted to do. I would wake up before the sunrise and I would take my dog out for about an hour and a half. But as we went into July and before I came up here to visit my family, it was just so hot, and my dog really couldn't handle the heat even in the early morning, and I just felt like it wasn't fair to her to keep walking her. So I did keep walking, but my dog only made it about 4 times, and then I decided to nix it. And then ever since I've come up here, my dog isn't with us, but I have still been walking, so that's good, because that was definitely one of my major goals for July, was to have movement in this month and walk a lot and enjoy nature and be outside, and I really actually felt like I did a good job of cultivating that specific goal. Ooh, okay. The 2 pictures of a hammock. This is another classic summertime activity for me, is just lying in a hammock. My sister snapped a couple pictures of me taking a nap the other day, so this one I can check off that summertime to-do list. So we're returning to the baked goods era of this mood board. When I was creating it and I was thinking about, oh, do I want to make the vacuum cleaners this year or do I want to make something different? I was thinking maybe I would make a cardamom bun or something called semla, which is, according to my young Swedish cousins, very much beloved dessert in Sweden. yeah, long story short, I haven't made anything yet. There is on this Pinterest board a specific cookbook that I brought up with me to this cottage. I would show it to you in real life, but it's currently propping up the camera. So I'll just post a picture of it. It's called the Nordic Baking Book. And I think what I am going to eventually make is a pear cardamom cake that is in the pages of that book, but that is something that I will save for August. If I make another one of these videos, check back in to see if I actually made that cake. Some 4th of July festivity things. I did not make a 4th of July charcuterie board, although I really wanted to. I also really wanted to make this sangria with apples, blueberries, and strawberries, and like a rosé. It just didn't happen. I love this idea though. It's definitely something that I want to do. I did see fireworks. I did go and see fireworks and they were beautiful. In all honesty, there was a storm coming in during our fireworks and I'm a little skittish around storms and lightning, so I actually watched the firework display from the safety of my car. Honestly, it was great because I could play music and I had air conditioning on. It was kind of ideal. I have a couple pictures of being on a boat, on an actual like motorboat rather than a sailboat. I might not like sailing, but I do like being on a boat, and this is just another classic summertime activity to me when I'm up here with my family, and I have definitely fulfilled that and will continue to fulfill that as we go into August. Okay, cameras. I wanted to start vlogging again. I'm doing it. I'm making videos again. I have this video and I also vlogged a writing challenge that Katie Ann and I attempted about 2 weeks ago, and I'm currently editing that very, very, very long vlog down to hopefully a consumable piece of media. We'll see if I achieve that. This one's really simple. My phone was cracked to hell. I needed to get a new one, and I did. I wanted to declutter this month. I did. I also knew I was going to be very busy, so I just had a picture of a to-do list, because to me that represents being busy but being productive and tackling it. And actually I have to say, I've done a really good job of this. I've started using Notion again and mainly using it to curate to-do lists, and I'm kind of killing it. And I'm really proud of myself about that. We've got some moving boxes because I am moving. I am moving in August and I wanted to get started on that whole process in July. Nailed it. I really did. In fact, I flew out to the place that I'm moving to, did a whole weekend touring apartments, found an apartment, signed a lease, got everything ready, did a declutter of things I know I'm not taking. All around, did a really good job. I think I did a lot of work in July to make my life in August a bit easier. It's still gonna be pretty hectic, but not like an actual disaster show. I mean, it might still be an actual disaster show, but it might be slightly doable. I have somebody typing on a computer. You might think, oh, this is an AuthorTube channel. This is the pin that she made to represent writing and working on her story. Nope, this was a pin meant to represent filling out applications, because one of the big tasks I completed this month was I applied for something. I applied for an artist in residency program. I really, really want to get into it, but it won't be the end of the world if I don't. But it was a very important task that I needed to complete, and so I wanted to put it on the mood board because it was definitely a big part of my month. All right, we've got more baking. I was really convinced I was going to be baking a lot in July. I didn't. Well, I mean, I did. We'll get to it. I mean, I didn't bake a lot, but I did bake. Nothing Swedish. We're gonna save that all for August. Here is a writing one. It's a really aggressive writing pin. It says, put your butt in the chair and write 1 page a day. Yeah, I didn't do that. I did not write 1 page a day. I did, however, complete a 20 and 2 with Katie Ann, as I mentioned before, vlog potentially incoming, where we were attempting to get about 20,000 words in 2 days. Keep an eye out for the video to see if we were successful or not. Ever since we did that 20 and 2, I have been very, very good about writing. I haven't written every day, but I have written for an average of about 1 hour a day, so I'm very pleased with that. Here's some more cooking stuff that I did not make. Here is the pin of the Nordic baking book. That's the cover, which I'm sure I've already shown you. Popsicle picture is meant to represent some popsicles that my family makes every single year. When I was really little, my cousins and I were obsessed with fairies, and one of my aunts would make us this drink she called Fairy Fizz, and on really hot days we'd put it in the freezer to make popsicles. And now that some of my younger cousins are kind of getting into the age where they are also into fairies, we've started making Fairy Fizz popsicles again. So this was just a pin I put on here because I wanted to make those Fairy Fizz popsicles because I love the idea of continuing that tradition with the next generation. These two pins were basically just because I knew I needed to get my hair done in July. I had an appointment to get my highlights in, get some layers, trim my bangs, get it all done. Roughly the color I was going for, kind of a light summery blonde. Also, I think I did have the intention of making a fishtail my go-to hairstyle for the month, but as you can see, I ended up going with a semi-high pony. It's actually a little low today, but there have been some days when she's been quite perky. If you care. Oh, a very beautiful picture of some coffee. At the start of July, I was in the full throes of my first ever real caffeine addiction. And so I was like, yes, we're gonna be doing a lot of coffee this month. But no, I have actually been actively trying to break my caffeine addiction. This is coffee. I'll be honest with you about that. So far, I'm doing really well, actually, despite the fact that I am drinking a coffee at this moment. At the start of the month, I was having about 6 cups a day. I am now down to about 1 cup every 2 days, so I feel like we're doing well. I did do a bit of a digital declutter. I've been slowly clearing out my email inboxes, trying to organize them so that way the only messages in my main inbox are things I haven't read or addressed, and everything else is kind of partitioned to their own appropriate folders. That's been something I'm really proud of myself for doing this month because it's something I've needed to do for years and I'm making a lot of headway on it. Okay. We have arrived at the 2 things that I did actually make this month. The first was a mango smoothie. I was really into mangoes at the end of June, beginning of July, and I thought, ooh, a mango smoothie would be great. And then one day I was like, today's the day I'm gonna make a mango smoothie. But we also had 2 very ripe bananas that were about to go bad, and I made the fatal error of putting those bananas into the smoothie. And so unfortunately the smoothie was just a banana smoothie that also had mango in it, but you could not taste the mango. It was so sad. The image to the side of the mango smoothie is where I had my real knockout success this month. I really wanted to make lemon curd. Lemon curd requires a lot of egg yolks, and so I was thinking, okay, what do you do with all the egg whites? Well, of course you make a meringue, and then you combine the lemon curd and the meringue and maybe some other fruit, maybe some blueberries, maybe some mango, because we're obsessed with mango, and you make a pavlova. And that's what I did, and it was beautiful. And it was delicious. And I took little flowers out of my garden and I put the little flowers in the pavlova, and it was so pretty and I was thrilled with it. I think there was too much lemon curd. I think it could have used about 1/4 as much lemon curd because lemon curd kind of overpowered the flavor of the blueberries and the mango. I'm sorry to the mango, but it keeps getting overpowered by other flavors. But it was beautiful. There is no denying it was absolutely beautiful. Ah, yes, okay. Blink-182 concert. I went to a Blink-182 concert this month. My sisters and I all went as a Christmas gift, and it was such a great time. It is hands down one of the best concerts I've ever been to in my life, and I say that full well knowing that I went to the Eras Tour earlier this year. It was a really great night. Okay, here's the one book that I read this month. I'm in not a reading slump, I would say a reading break, because I've been reading a ton this year, but I'm taking a little bit of a break to focus on other things. But I read The Breakthrough by Daphne du Maurier. It's a short story about scientists who are trying to prove the existence of life after death, for lack of a better descriptor. And it's really interesting, but I particularly loved it for all of its allusions to Greek mythology and the fact that as you read it, it just feels like this perfect blend of science and fairy tales, which is always the writing style that I'm trying to achieve. So I was really into this short story. Our final 2 pins, Ball of Fire, a great movie from the 1940s that is one of my and one of my cousin's favorites. We watched it on her birthday this year. I was so excited. I love watching old movies up at the cottage with family. It's so cozy, and when we like light a fire and make popcorn and all huddle on a couch covered in blankets, it is truly my definition of like pure happiness. And then finally, I came across this image I have no idea where it's from, but it really, really spoke to me because I've really been struggling this month to be present in this place with my family. I feel like half my brain is here and half my brain is trying to figure out my move and doing all this writing that I need to get done and all this other stuff for my job. And just there is this part of me that's just like, ugh, I just want to get through July. Like, let time go a little bit faster. I just want it to be done. I want to be to the next thing. And that just makes me sad because this is such a special time for me every year. And I feel like if I don't fully appreciate being here with my family, once I leave, I'm gonna feel like I never even was here, and that's gonna make me really sad. And so this pin I saw about a week ago when I was thinking about setting up my August mood board. It really spoke to me. The idea of let July be July, let August be August. Sit in these moments, sit in these months, appreciate them for what they are. The future will come, so appreciate the present while it's here. And there we go. That is my mood board for the month of July. My mood board for the month of August has been partially set up, but I'm about to go and finish it. That is one of my favorite tasks to do on the last day of the month. Hopefully at the end of August, as we move into September, I'll have another mood board review up. Let me know your kind of system for entering into new months. Do you make a to-do list? Do you make mood boards? Do you have goals? What is your system? And keep an eye out for my 20 and 2 collaboration with Katie Ann. That should be coming out relatively soon. Maybe, we'll see. Until then, go be happy, go be healthy, and go write. Bye.